samaya manobalaya benza sado deno chenra chenro soto kayo membawa sopo kayo Anorando membawa sarva siddhi metraya sarva karma susame siddhamashya guru ha 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 ho bhagave sarva tathāgata benzarai mame benza benzarai bhava mai samaya santo benza santo samaya manobalaya benza santo deno banjina jendo membawa soto kayo membawa sopo kayo Anorando membawa sarva siddhi metraya sarva karma susame siddhamashya guru ha 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 ho bhagave sarva tathāgata benzarai mame benza benzarai bhava mai samaya santo benza santo samaya manobalaya benza santo deno banjina jendo membawa soto kayo membawa sopo kayo membawa Anorando membawa sarva siddhi metraya sarva karma susame siddhamashya guru ha 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 ho bhagave sarva tathāgata benzarai mame benza benzarai bhava mai samaya santo benza santo samaya manobalaya benza santo deno banjina jendo membawa soto kayo membawa sopo kayo Anorando membawa sarva siddhi metraya sarva karma susame siddhamashya guru ha 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 ho bhagave sarva tathāgata benzarai mame benza benzarai bhava mai samaya santo benza santo samaya manobalaya benza santo deno banjina jendo membawa soto kayo membawa sopo kayo membawa Anorando membawa sarva siddhi metraya sarva karma susame siddhamashya guru ha 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 ho bhagave sarva tathāgata benzarai mame benza benzarai bhava mai samaya santo benza santo samaya manobalaya benza santo deno banjina jendo membawa Samaya mano balaya Benza sado de no Chinra chinro membawa Soto kayo membawa Sopo kayo membawa Anurando membawa Sarva siddhi metrayanta Sarva karma susame Siddhamashiyam Samaya mano balaya Benza sado de no Chinra chinro membawa Soto kayo membawa Sopo kayo membawa Anurando membawa Sarva siddhi metrayanta Sarva karma susame Siddhamashiyam Samaya mano balaya Benza sado de no Chinra chinro membawa Soto kayo membawa Sopo kayo membawa Anurando membawa Sarva siddhi metrayanta Sarva karma susame Siddhamashiyam Samaya mano balaya Benza sado de no Chinra chinro membawa Soto kayo membawa Sopo kayo membawa Anurando membawa Sarva siddhi metrayanta Sarva karma susame Siddhamashiyam Samaya mano balaya Benza sado de no Chinra chinro membawa Soto kayo membawa Sopo kayo membawa Anurando membawa Sarva siddhi metrayanta Sarva karma susame Siddhamashiyam Tathāgata samaya manopalaya benza sado de no Soto kayo membawa, soto kayo Amorando membawa, sarvasiti medaya, sarva karma susame, sedamashya. Ha 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 ha, tathāgata, bhava mai samaya, sato benza sato, samaya manopalaya, benza sato deno banche Soto kayo membawa, soto kayo Anorando membawa, sarvasiti medaya, sarva karma susame, sedamashya. Ha 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 ha, Tathāgata, bhava mai samaya, sato benza sato, samaya manopalaya, benza sato deno banche Soto kayo membawa, soto kayo Anorando membawa, sarvasiti medaya, sarva karma susame, sedamashya. Ha 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 ha, Tathāgata, bhava mai samaya, sato benza sato, samaya manopalaya, benza sato deno banche Soto kayo membawa, soto kayo Anorando membawa, sarvasiti medaya, sarva karma susame, sedamashya. Ha 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 ha, Tathāgata, bhava mai samaya, sato benza sato, samaya manopalaya, benza sato deno banche Soto kayo membawa, soto kayo Anorando membawa, sarvasiti medaya, sarva karma susame, sedamashya. Ha 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 ha, Tathāgata, bhava mai samaya, sato benza sato, samaya manopalaya, benza sato deno banche Tathāgata memba Anurando memba Sarva Siddhi Metrayam Sarva Karma Sasame Siddhamashya Tathāgata Benjarai Mame Mancha Benjarai Bhava Mai Samaya Santo Benja Sato Samaya Mano Balaya Benja Sato Deno Benjai Jendo Tathāgata memba Sabhagayo Anurando memba Sarva Siddhi Metrayam Sarva Karma Sasame Siddhamashya Tathāgata Benjarai Mame Mancha Benjarai Bhava Mai Samaya Santo Benja Sato Samaya Mano Balaya Benja Sato Deno Benjai Jendo Membawa Tathāgata memba Sabhagayo Anurando memba Sarva Siddhi Metrayam Sarva Karma Sasame Siddhamashya Tathāgata Benjarai Mame Mancha Benjarai Bhava Mai Samaya Santo Benja Sato Samaya Mano Balaya Benja Sato Deno Benjai Jendo
Good morning, random kid. What? Random kid is my kid. Okay, Kirsten. Hi, Augie. Stop fooling around here. Kirsten, if you click on the link, it will leave from YouTube, and we'll have to review and then find the live oneness meditation school. Okay? Really? Let me try. No, I think you just open another window, Kirsten. You just open another window which you can switch between this stream and the link you opened. Okay, maybe we can have a little study of this huge concept, Tathāgatagarbha. Okay, I think we can start from the what paste here again. Tathāgatagarbha. It's a beautiful concept from Buddhism. It's not Buddhism. It's a not concept. It's a realization. So it's an Oxford bibliography.com. I think that's Tathāgatagarbha. Introduction. The idea that living beings are imbued with the self-same nature as enlightened Buddha, and thus are potential Buddhas, came to be widely expressed in the literature of early Mahayana Buddhism. Terms used to designate this concept included Buddha nature, Buddha dhatu, Buddha element, 佛性 in Chinese, 佛性, and Tathāgatagarbha, which was translated into Chinese as Tathāgata storehouse. So Garbha is a storehouse. Ālāyavijñāna. Tathāgata is another name of Buddha, but it's a different aspect. In Chinese, say 如来. So having a Tathāgata within, despite the broad distribution of the idea of Buddha nature in India Mahayana canonical texts, few Indian Buddhist systematic thinkers seem to have concerned themselves with either its elaboration or criticism. Okay, let's go on. I'll pick up the most important here. Okay, in the middle and a little bit end of the in the middle of the first paragraph, East Asian Buddhists often understood garbha in the sense of womb or embryo, which is reflected in current English translations, including womb, embryo, matrix of the Tathāgata. The metaphor of giving birth to a Buddha that is seemed to imply also deeply influenced the conceptualization and even iconography or of Buddhist contemplative practice. It is made notice, moreover, that is associated concept of clan or family. One's affinity with Buddhahood was much discussed in Indian doctrinal treatises, and though not a major focus in this bibliography. Okay, let's go over. Actually, it's not not too much discussed here. I will talk about it later in my perspective after we read the second one. So it's a buddhanature.org. So I will paste it here again. Use your phone. So sometimes it's better you can use your computer. So you have bigger screen. So I paste here again the buddhanature.org. This one is has a detailed explanation of the Tathāgatagarbha. So if there's a chart here. The first line, Tathāgatagarbha. There's a Tibetan. Then there's Sanskrit. Then there's Chinese, 如来藏. And even Chinese pinyin or spelling is underneath 如来藏. Buddha nature, heart of the thus gone one. So 如来 in Chinese, thus gone or thus come. And then I will explain from my perspective after we read it. So have a little bit understanding first. Basic meaning, Buddha nature, womb essence of those who have gone to suchness. Buddha nature is an English translation not of Tathāgatagarbha but of Buddha dhatu, as well as Buddha, Tathāgata. So Tathāgata, I know sometimes my poor Sanskrit, Tathāgata or Tathāgata, it's crazy. And possible some other, but let's go on the second part, definitions. The second line, the of the Tathāgata, matrix of Tathāgatas, embryos Tathāgatas, essence of Tathāgatas, containing a Tathāgata. Okay, let's go on. There's a little bit detailed here. Yes, here. The last part of the chart. As for the meaning of Sanskrit compound Tathāgatagarbha, its first part, tathā, can be taken as either the adverb thus or the noun thusness or suchness as a term for ultimate reality. So we are talking about ultimate reality. Is the base or foundation of any concept, any Buddha's other teaching, like suffering, like truth, like language, like it's the base of everything. It's like a region of everything. That's why Tathāgatagarbha, this concept or realization is so important. It's like God in Christianity, the source, a region of every creation and destruction. So if you really understand God, you will understand everything that God creates, right? It's because now you understand a region of something. Even a region of the thing or happiness or health or wealth or any terms comes from this Tathāgatagarbha or source of everything. So the second part can be read either as gata, gun, or āgata, calm. You see, Sanskrit is tricky, huh? Like A is negation of gata. So āgata means calm, while gata is gone. So depends how you look at or divide this Sanskrit word, right? Sanskrit word. I don't know much about Tibet. So, however, in the term Tathāgata, both meaning more or less, come down, or to the same. That's the main difference lies in whether one understands a Tathāgata as thus gone or thus come, one, or one gone and come to suchness. Both are right, in my understanding, which the former emphasizes the aspect of a path and the later the result. Path and the result, or condition and result, or path and the destination. The final part of the compound, garbha, literally or originally means embryo, germ, womb, the interior or middle of anything, any interior chamber or sanctuary of a temple, having the interior containing. At some point, the term also assumed the meaning of core, heart. You see, because yesterday or day before yesterday, we talked about Heart Sutra, right? So it's remind me the concept of this or realization of the Buddha nature or Tathāgatagarbha. Heart, pith, essence. Okay. Tathāgatagarbha, a foundation, or sometimes like the ground that everything grows. If you have piece of garden, and sometimes you plant flowers, rose or tulips in your garden, and once in a while there's a wild weeds grows on it, and all kinds of every grass will grow if you don't take any care of your garden, right? So the piece of land, the ground, is like Tathāgatagarbha as a metaphor, right? So it grows beautiful flowers or ugly weeds. All the duality stuff will grow in this Tathāgatagarbha. Suffering will grow, in this field of infinity, and also happiness will grow in the field of infinity. Infinity does not say this is good or this is bad, but it will grow everything as weeds and flowers in garden, right? So yesterday we talked about the Heart Sutra. Actually, the essence of Heart Sutra is pointing to this Tathāgatagarbha, heart, or foundation or ground of everything, a region of everything, a region of birth and death, a region of creation and destruction, a region of coming and going, a region of suffering and happiness. The list can go on and go on, it can goes on and on. A region of everything, impermanence and permanence, impurity and purity. So that's why I would try to introduce Tathāgatagarbha, this concept here, because from this Tathāgatagarbha, the true self or Brahman, it grows everything. We talk about 5 skandhas: forms, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. All the 5 skandhas are based on this Tathāgatagarbha, because this Tathāgatagarbha grows everything. Also, the wisdom grows out from this Tathāgatagarbha. Wisdom and ignorance, this antidote of a pair of, like the wisdom is antidote of ignorance, right? So ignorance and the wisdoms are grown from this Tathāgatagarbha, from heart, if I can use the Heart Sutra, from that 佛性. So interesting metaphor. Of course, it's our experience. If we use the garden to express this Tathāgatagarbha, okay, I will keep on going. This, because it's the origin of everything, so we have to. There's something come to my mind. I will just pick it up. For example, the 8 consciousness. So our consciousness arises from this Tathāgatagarbha. So if you really want to depict what is the consciousness, there is a beautiful school of consciousness, which is Yogacara. So again, it's the heart or origin of everything. It contains every Buddha's other teachings. So I will put Yogacara here. So where? So if you, which one? This is 8 consciousness, I think. Okay, 8 consciousness. It's Yogacara Buddhism. It's the classification developed in the tradition of Yogacara school of Mahayana Buddhism. So again, I've talked about in Buddhism, or there's 2 groups of philosophies. One is Yogacara, one is Madhyamaka. So Madhyamaka majorly talk about the emptiness, the dependent arising, impermanence, and so on, right? More kind of study of objects. Okay, it's like a science study objects. So the study or the group of studying of objects is classified into Madhyamaka. But There's another group of Buddhism study or philosophy is study the subject. Pay attention, okay? That called Yogacara. So study of object, we call it Madhyamaka, emptiness, dependent rising, dependent origination, impermanence, suffering, and so on. But suffering is more like a subjectivity. So forget about this suffering. And another school is Yogacara. We're going to talk about here more about consciousness, more about the subjectivity instead of objectivity, which belongs to the Madhyamaka. So objective, the study of the object or objectivity is in the group of Yogacara. Okay, that's so you have this clear picture. Then in the Yogacara, you have 8 consciousness instead of 6. In worldly understanding, we have 5 senses plus mind. That's 6 senses, right? But in the Yogacara, we have 8 plus the 7th, which is the identity of I, manas. I will go later. And the foundation of everything, right, from which arise previous 6 senses or 5 senses plus mind, then plus identification of I, ego, then here is the ground in which the 7th consciousness grows. We call it storehouse. Okay, storehouse consciousness. Now there's a connection between Tathāgatagarbha and this 8th consciousness, which is called storehouse consciousness. In Sanskrit, it's called ālāyavijñāna. Again, my poor Sanskrit. It's better I can learn some Sanskrit basic one later. I will just put it here in the chat box. Storehouse consciousness, ālāyavijñāna. What's the relationship between Tathāgatagarbha and Vijñāna? That's the critical question here. Okay, pay attention. Before you awakened, we call your 8th consciousness ālāya or ālāyavijñāna. After awakening, we call the 8th consciousness Tathāgatagarbha. Okay, you got it? Because after awakening, you recognize there's a storehouse from which you behave, on top of which you can behave, you can talk, you can experience, you can sense, you can play, you can learn, you can study, you can investigate. Everything, every mental power arises from this Tathāgatagarbha. But you have to awaken to see that, to even realize that. I won't say experience it. I will say realize it. Realize the existence of Tathāgatagarbha. Then the previous name ālāyavijñāna transformed to Tathāgatagarbha. That's why we call the awakened being like Buddha another name. Another name of Buddha is Tathāgata. Who see the suchness, who see suchness or thusness or thisness or Zen, the Tao. As there's a lot of different terminology can pointing this ultimate realization. That's the beauty, because of it's the region, it's the heart of everything. So everything can pointing to this heart or essence or Buddha nature or of Tathāgatagarbha, and you can go back to every point. Again, I use that metaphor. Imagine there's a sphere, and in the center, the central point, So from this central point, you can drive, or you can, how to say, draw from this central point to any point of that sphere, right? So in the same way, any point of that sphere can pointing or connect to this central point. So the central point here in this sphere and point metaphor, the Tathāgatagarbha is the central point. And every other things like 5 skandhas, sufferings, wisdoms, ignorance, awakening, enlightenment can trace back or connect to this central point, or Tathāgatagarbha, or Buddha nature, or heart. That's my recent realization. Wow, the Buddha's teaching is amazing. There's no anything can superior than this recognition. We really dig into the source of everything, and you can see it by yourself. You can experience it by yourself. That's why nothing can beat this realization, nothing, because everything is impermanent in the perspective of this Tathāgatagarbha. Okay, that's my explanation. So we can still go back to this storehouse. We're on the page of storehouse consciousness, right? Yes, 8 consciousness. Okay, so still go back to this link, Wikipedia link of 8 consciousness. So in the middle, there's a chart, or in the beginning actually, the 8-fold network of primary consciousness. So the first 5, is easy to understand. We have eye consciousness, we have ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. I will focus on explaining one of them, and you can understand the rest of 4. Of the 5. So eye consciousness. Actually, in this eye consciousness, there's 3 aspects. The object, like say an apple, the organ of the sense, eyes or eye, then the consciousness you build upon seeing the the red apple. So apple, eye, and consciousness. It's like our eyes here, and then there's apple here in between, then there's a consciousness behind the eyeball, which is my brain. Then the consciousness is developed here, right? So eye consciousness is a subdivision of the total consciousness. This is one category. It's not a total or cosmic consciousness yet, but it's the function or application of this cosmic consciousness or cosmic intelligence. Anyway, so eye consciousness contains 3 parts: object, eye, or the organ sense, the organ of sense, eyeball or eyes, then eye consciousness. So in this understanding, if we calculate the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the body, then we have 5. Then 5 times 3, right? Each consciousness can extend to every other 3. So 5 times 3 equals 15. Now let's go to the 6th. The 6th is mental consciousness or mind. So thoughts, memory, any mental activities, okay, we can call it mind or mental consciousness. For example, just to visualize a red apple, you don't need to see it in the real life. You can visualize a red apple, just closing your eyes or open your eyes, doesn't matter. Then there's an object of apple in your mind, and there is a right visualization of the mind, and the consciousness, the mental consciousness. Again, the three aspects. You got it? The object of a visualization, an apple, the organ of the visualization, the mind or the brain, and the consciousness of the visualization, the mental consciousness or the mind. So again, three aspects, yeah. So now 15 plus 3 is 18. So in the previous six senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, plus mind or brain, we have 18. So 6 times 3 equals 18. So we have 18 realms. 18界. Okay, so in the awakened eye, in the eyes of awakening, in the eyes of understanding, especially in the perspective Yogacara school, an awakened being have a sense of 16 realms. Now you can listen to me. There's a voice here. There's ears at your side, and there's understanding from your side, the ear consciousness, right? So in an awakened being, he can perceive or realize 18 realms. So 18 realms is another term, or 12 places. So basically the difference between 12 places and the 18 realm is the difference is the six. The six consciousness is deducted from 18 consciousness. If you deduct six consciousness, the eyes consciousness, the nose consciousness, and the mental consciousness, the sixth consciousness, subconsciousness, right? So I'm not the subconscious in a psychology term, but in this context, if you 18 deduct 6 is 12. So for these 12, which includes 6 objects and 6 organs, does not include the 6 consciousness, then 6 plus 6, the 6 organs plus 6 objects is 12. We call 12 places. So again, it's another term of this consciousness only school, or another term of Buddha's teaching. So 12 places, 18 realms. You can all derive from this Yogacara or consciousness only school. Anyway, so I wish I can finish this. It's a lot. Any question up to now? I have another 15 minutes, I think. Anyway, I will finish soon, but I can pick it up again. So 8 conscious. So now we come to 7th, which is really important. Basically, we call, in the Western psychology, we call this ego. The disturbing motion or attitudes, the sense of I, the identification of body and mind. You know, what your background, your family, or this is me. So in the Yogacara, we call this manas, or the 7th consciousness, or deluded awareness, or the wrong identification of who am I. Then we go to the 8th, storehouse or repository consciousness, the surrounding world, the receptacle or container. You see, as a garden, the piece of ground that can grow roses, also at the same time weeds, so it grows everything, your happiness, sorrow or suffering, or wisdom and ignorance, beautiful and ugly, and everything is on top, is grow, or is made by this this consciousness, or we call it ālāyavijñāna. Okay, but once you awakened, you transform your eighth consciousness or ālāya into Tathāgatagarbha or Buddha nature. That's my key word here. I want to tell you and the importance of the recognition of Tathāgatagarbha or your Buddha nature. Once you realize your Buddha nature, uh, you can understand more clearly all the Buddha's teaching. I may stop here because we may pick it up later, tomorrow or someday else. Do you find it's interesting? Okay, so we meditate, right? We meditate to recognize the pure awareness. A pure awareness means you're not defined, it's not defined, undefiled, and cannot be defiled by any objects of the consciousness or awareness. No content can defile this pure awareness. So the pure awareness we say in Chinese, xing. So Tathāgatagarbha, we call it xing. So it's really, so xing, I will put it here. And xing. So xing is your Tathāgatagarbha. So hopefully I can explain this and go. So xing is your pure awareness, is the application of xing, the second one. So one with G and one without G. The xing, your pure mind without G, is the application of your Tathāgatagarbha. I want to use the application or function of the, so xing is the function of the Tathāgatagarbha. Xing is the function of xing. Damn it. Okay, why? So again, I can use metaphor. So here at my side, there's electricity, right? But we never saw electricity, right? But I know electricity is here. Why? Because it shines here. The bulb is emitting light. So the Tathāgatagarbha is right here and now. At my side, at your side, is universal. It's the cosmic intelligence, or you can call it, or the universal unified field that makes you aware. So in this perspective, xing and xing is non-dual. Once there's electricity, there's light, or there's heat, or there's a vibration. Make sense? You never see electricity. We never see it. But we experience it. There's a light, there's a computer, there's all the applications of electricity or electromagnetic field. So in this perception, the light and electricity is non-dual. So the awareness and the Tathāgatagarbha is non-dual. Although that is the xing or the Tathāgatagarbha is imaginable, cannot be thought of, unthinkable. Yet the application is right here now. I mean, the awareness, my pure awareness, is right here now. That's the difference and the commonality of the xing and xing, or the pure awareness, and Tathāgatagarbha, or the pure awareness and the cosmic intelligence, or God, the world and God, the people and God. I just want to use different terms to pointing this realization. Once you awake, or you can open your eyes and be wakeful. Once you can be aware, that's the Tathāgatagarbha is working on you, is applied to you. And there's no you, there's no malice, there's no seventh consciousness, because it's a wrong identification, right? It's a ignorance of wrong identification. The seventh manas, the ego, is a wrong identification. There's no such I here. There's only suchness. There's only Tathāgatagarbha, the ocean. There's only the ocean, and we are in waves. The body and mind are waves. So you see the Heart Sutra, and everything is kind of connecting. Okay, I think that's all for today. I have to go to work. I think that's enough. So my last word, the recognition or understanding of Tathāgatagarbha is so important. It's kind of different from Yogacara and Madhyamaka, yet contains both of them, Yogacara and Madhyamaka. But it's a different perspective. That's why Buddha's teaching is so profound. Buddha's teaching is so profound because every term is interconnected with every other term. Now, after these 10 years of studying meditation and sharing and teaching, it's like every dot in this canvas of consciousness kind of connecting now. Make this picture, make that picture, and it's a formless picture. It's crazy. It's really a matrix, a dynamic, dancing, beautiful, constructing picture, yet without any form. Yet could be any form. So crazy. It's really crazy. It's like if you're good at painting, you're standing in front of vast canvas or whiteboard. You have a brush and pens in your hand and the pens beside you. You have all kinds of ideas, yet you don't draw the first stroke, or you don't draw the first line or dot. You have these infinite possibilities to draw any ideas, yet you don't put the first dot or line. It's like that kind of feeling. You have the infinite possibility, yet all the possibilities is right here now. But you can draw a line, a dot, then the second, the third, the fourth, and the whole picture is there on the canvas, the swing of consciousness, yet you can see its emptiness. You can see its emptiness, or you know it's empty. That means you can draw another one, draw the third picture, draw the fourth picture. Every picture contains infinite dots or lines or contents, yet every picture is empty. That's the best metaphor I can use now. That's called enlightenment. Okay, thank you. I have to go. Bye now.